What's up, people? I am back. Before I get started on For Your Eyes Only, let me kind of touch on a movie I was to review last week. I am going to talk about Moonraker. And like I said yesterday, I don't want to make this a habit, but if I can't get to a Bond film, it's like I can't keep, I'm going to put this one off. I can't keep doing that. So I'm just going to, like, on certain ones, if I can't, if, like, let's say that Tuesday I can't review it, or and I don't have any other day of the week to do it, I will either maybe I'll try to do a double that day, but most of the time I don't think I can. So I probably will just do this where I'll give my quick thoughts of the previous one. But Moonraker, so before I get started on For Your Eyes Only, Moonraker was alright. I like the space setting, but the villain, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot his name. It's very forgettable. But fucking Holly Goodhead. Oh man, that name is great. Like, I like the space setting. I thought that was interesting, taking it to space. But the villain didn't really have a presence. I did like the sci-fi touch to it. And like I said, fucking Roger Moore, he's my second favorite Bond. We'll see, because it was between him and Pierce Brosnan, because I mean he was my Bond almost from me growing up, you know. So I can understand, but Moore is so good. I feel like he has that a little bit of suave, especially in the later ones, like Connery. Which, speaking of Connery, since both, I love the title, by the way, Octopussy and Never Say Never Again both came out the same year. What I think I'll do is I'll probably review Octopussy first, just since it makes sense, just because canon, it's the next one anyway. So I'll review that one. And then instead of reviewing the one after that, I'll review Never Say Never Again that following Tuesday. So the Tuesday after next Tuesday. So, since they both came out the same year. Maybe I'll even see, I mean, unless, like, okay. Maybe if I don't have anything, like, if nothing comes up by Wednesday next week and I don't have anything to review, I might even just do them back to back. We'll do Octopussy first on Tuesday, and then maybe that Wednesday next week we'll do Never Say Never Again. I'll see how I'm feeling, and if something, maybe if I feel like doing another video, and then if I do that, I'll just do it the first way I just said. So, but overall, I enjoyed Moonraker. The music was interesting. I always loved the opening songs for these movies. Are some of my favorite parts of the movie. I thought the action scenes were fun. But I'll admit, Moonraker was a little bit on the weaker side. She's compared to some of the, especially compared to For Your Eyes Only. But I'd give Moonraker maybe 7 out of 10. Before we get started on For Your Eyes Only, tomorrow I'll be reviewing, like I said, movie a friend of mine, Steve, recommended me, Streets of Fire. So this one is, I'm going in blind. I've never seen it. So this is just kind of going in blind. But For Your Eyes Only, I really love this one. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I like the sci-fi space element of the last one, but I do kind of like that this one does take it back to basics. Exotic setting, Bond and a Bond girl, Melina, this time around. I do like that she has her own little plot, because her whole arc is her father gets killed in front of her, and she wants to get revenge. The only weak aspect of the movie is the villain, and that's more because they don't set him up as a villain. His name is like, fuck, I'll be honest, that's the only aspect of the film, because they reveal it really weak in the movie. Because they make it seem like he's a good guy, right? And he works with this guy Milos, and then we get the reveal that no, he's the bad guy. Not Milos, but the other guy. It starts with a G. I don't know why I had it and then it's just gone, but it'll probably come to me. But overall, I don't like, that's the problem with doing this guy was the villain the entire time. Like, you gotta give little hints, because when you don't do that, you just get the problem of, oh, he's a villain like the last 10 minutes of the movie. And that's kind of what happened here. He's basically like the last 10 minutes or so of the movie. He's he's basically the villain, yeah, and I just don't think he really does much. Aside from that, though, I love the action. Bill Conti's score throughout the film, especially in the action scenes, are just great. Like they really definitely amped up the action for this one, and like I said, it goes back to simplicity. Bond having to try to retrieve this ATAC system, which can like control um submarines that are getting stolen. Like you get your basic story, and then no M in this film, or he comes later. But Q is good. Q's fun. I love when you first see Q. You just see this like umbrella that like actually is like a weapon. I thought that was funny. The biggest thing, like I said, is the music for me. Bill Conti's score, like every scene, just kills it. Like the sled scene that we get later on. I always love Bond's introduction, and yeah, like I said, it goes back to like kind of basics. It's not like, don't get me wrong, I like the last one, but I do kind of like that it does take it back to like this is like exotic location. The bad guy, I'll admit, is not as good. I think that's the only really weak aspect of the film. But the rest of it is decent. So overall, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. Um, I mean, even the way it ends, they meet the bad guy. Classic Bond hooks up with girl. Yeah. But yeah, that's really all I can say. So Streets of Fire review tomorrow. Thursday, Mad Max 2 Road Warrior. I cannot fucking wait, man, for that. That's like my favorite Mad Max. And then Friday, The Babysitter. So I just wanted to get my quick that I got going on for the next few days. But other than that, let's get into For Your Eyes Only. So the ATAC is this thing that can steal British submarines, which what ended up happening. um Melina ends up witnessing her father get killed, and she vows revenge. So that's cool. Give your character a bit of backstory, and this is where we're reintroduced to Bond. Reintroduced to Bond, hooking up with a girl. It being a trap. We get a cool action scene in the beginning, and then Bond is then tasked to get the ATAC, and this is where he runs into Melissa, and we get a car chase in the beginning, which is pretty fun. And like really, like that's the thing with this movie. Like they really don't hold back on because yeah, where they're at, I don't remember the country, but it's a lot of snow. So yeah, there's skiing. I love the ski scenes, man. When he's skiing and you get like a big chase, I love it. But like I said, Bill Conti's score is so good throughout the film. Like it really gets you invested. Like that's the power of good music, because it gets you into like I love Bond action scenes as much as the next guy, but the music really does help it in this specifically. Like you really get into it, like the chase scenes. So while out searching for the ATAC, this is where he runs into Melissa. She helps ends up killing one of the guys trying to kill him. And yeah, they go together, and this is where we get that car chase in the beginning. Bond outwits them, and is tasked to watch over. This is where he meets Milos, who's a fun character. Who, granted, I guess if you can see setups coming, and the guy he works with, they tasked to work together. They do a mission together. I love that shit. And Bond getting his technology, and then obviously throughout the film, Bond is starting to fall for Melinda, who I think is a solid character, and I will give them that. Like they give her own arc. That's kind of interesting. And they do it in a way where it's believable. And it's believable. She wants revenge for her parents' death. Like, because at the beginning of the movie, you see her parents just get killed. And, like, they don't hold back on that scene. Like, they just get, like, shot by, like, it was a plane or helicopter, one of the two. And yeah, so like I can understand that. So um Charles Dance is in this movie. That's the one thing I really like too. Granted, he's not like a major bad guy because he's probably an up and coming actor at the time. That yeah, he was just one of the like the thugs that worked for the bad guy. So Bond is then tasked to watch over this young Olympic girl named it's Bailey, I think. I could be wrong. Or it starts with a B. I'll just say that. And I definitely thought that scene was because she was clearly she's like underage and she's trying to fucking hook up with Bond and Bond has to like I like how movies back then had humor, but it was actually like integrated perfectly within the film. It's not like just we gotta stop this in the middle of an action scene and joke around. So this is where we then an assassin tries to kill Bond, and we get like the big ski chase, and Bond starts taking out bad guys in the ski. It was he kicks a guy with the ski was great. Like I overall like the action scenes in this. I think that's what really carried it for me. Like yeah, like the one thing Bond a great Bond film should definitely have is a great bad guy. But you know Blofeld, Goldfinger, but it's like I can give this one a pass because they try to make the whole this guy is an ally with Bond, and it's like the last. That's when we get the reveal. Yeah, he's the actual villain. And the only problem is you don't really learn his plan. I think that's like my big beef. Like you do learn it, but it's just like not memorable. Besides, get the ATAC. Like that's like the most we get out of it. So, um, I do really like the snow setting. I think that's really what makes this film. Um, the action scenes, like I said, the bad guy is not fully memorable. I think that's like the only really weak aspect of the film. Um, but Milos was a great character, and I liked the final fight. It was like almost like at a mountain. It was interesting. I do think that was an interesting way to do a final fight instead of like this big station like they normally do, right? But overall, besides like the connections they have and the story is pretty like it's a Bond story, so you're not the story isn't always the biggest thing because really they have to just get the ATAC. That's almost really the main plot throughout the film, if above anything else. Bond ends up killing the bad guy, saves the day, hooks up with Melinda, obviously after saving her. So yeah, you have your classic Bondisms and stuff. So overall, sorry if this review is a bit shorter. It's just because time's kind of an issue. But overall, I really like For Your Eyes Only. I even like the way they even say it within the movie, like when he's about to hook up with Oh, I will bring up this one scene though, where Bond's hooking up with this girl. Oh yeah, when the bad guy chases her, he's like almost like the only bad guy you almost see throughout the film that's consistent. Because he's consistently trying to kill Bond, and like he chases Bond, and this is another girl he was hooking up with, obviously to try to get info, like classic Bond. He attacks her in the desert, and she ends up getting fucking ran over. Like they don't hold back. Like she got fucking ran over. Or I love the scene when the bad guy turns. This is later in the movie in the mountain. He's trying to zip because the guy's trying to like break his zip line. Bond pulls out the throwing knife and just throws it at him. I love it. So I like little action scenes in this movie. That's really what carries it for me. The bad guy is like the only real weak part. When I can't even really fully remember your bad guy name, it is kind of sad, but like everything else carries it. I love the puns. The fact they bring For Your Eyes Only and he's about to hook up with her and she, undresses is perfect. And then, you get kind of like a gag where they're trying to call Bond, but he's trying to, he's doing his thing. And the film ends. I love the song for the film too. It's a dope film. I think this one is definitely a fun. It's really the action scenes that did it for me. Like, they were compelling. Like the fight scenes, the chase scenes. I love the ski scene. I actually kind of like it better than some of the ski scenes in like and George Lazenby's one. So overall, though, I really like it. The music is probably, like I said, that's gonna be the theme. I'm gonna be really focusing on is Bill's Conti score. I think that's like really what kills it for me. It's what kills in the positive way. Is the music is so good, and even like the quiet scenes, it's good. Or even the scenes like there's a scene where Bond's like hanging from a mountain, and you think he's gonna die. They actually turn the music off in that scene, and actually, you generally were like, "Holy shit!" Kind of feeling for. You knew he was gonna get out of it, right? But they do make you feel that dread a little bit, like, "Oh shit." I mean, maybe like you have that little maybe, but yeah, I like this film. Definitely will watch it on rewatches for sure. Um, the next one is Octopussy, which I remember always loving. Just I mean the name. I mean, come on. So that's the next one. I kind of can't wait till we get to the. I love. Don't get me wrong. I love Roger Moore, but I kind of and Dalton. Same with him, but I kind of can't wait to get to the Brosnan ones. Mainly Goldeneye. I fucking love that one. That like if I had to say second favorite Bond movie as a kid, it was definitely that one. I don't. We'll see if that holds up now, but yeah. So, but I can't wait because I always loved the way Brosnan played it. But I'm loving Moore right now. Moore is killing it. Like I think even in like some of the weaker ones, he's still really good. So that's my next Bond film is Octopussy. Then tomorrow, like I said, Streets of Fire review. So that's something I've never seen. So this is I'm going in blind. So see how I feel about that tomorrow. And I definitely recommend. I mean, obviously, we're gonna go through the Bond films. I definitely recommend For Your Eyes Only. I definitely think it's one of the stronger entries. And also I think another thing, while I like the older ones, I do think that when we get to like, I would really say it kind of started with Moonraker a little bit. Is it does because it's post late 70s going in. This one was 81. Like they definitely tighten up the plot because I don't know. I love some of those um old Connery ones, but they because this is back in the 60s and stuff. Like pacing wasn't always like you watch older movies in general. Like up, I would really say until like the 60s, pacing was kind of that wasn't always a thing. Movies were just like go to the movies and watch it. So people weren't like, oh, the pacing and that's not like but by like I would say 79 going in 81, 80, 81, that's when kind of yeah, pacing kind of you got to start really focusing on that. So yeah, they definitely started especially with this one, they tightened it up. There wasn't like, oh, this scene's just kind of dragging, which some of the older ones I think had that problem was they dragged a bit, but they definitely tightened it up for sure. So that's really all I can say though. I definitely think you'll like it if you watch it. The score alone will get you. So other than that, cheers and see you on tomorrow. I'll see y'all soon. And thanks for watching. Peace.